Morning. You guys haven't got Martin today. He's currently indisposed. Does anyone know what indisposed means? Of course you don't, you kids. Right, hands up, does anyone know what indisposed means? No. Unfit or unable to do something. And that's what the world does to you over time. And I know that now. And you've got your whole lives ahead of you to... After the neckerchief comes off and the badges go, and the campfires are finished, you join the club. And you've got your whole lives to be indisposed. Okay, so today we are doing knots. Just like knots. I like knots, so today we'll tie all the knots, and well, I can tie knots. I'm really good at tying knots. I probably tie knots better than you can. So I tied a knot once. The biggest knot. The biggest of all the knots. But it was not to be. It was not to be. No, fuck this. Fuck this, we're going to have a story. Don't tell your mum said that. We're going to have a story because... Well, do you know what Martin was going to do with you today? He was going to do hedgehog houses. Hedgehog houses. Load of shit. And if we have a story instead... Hedgehogs, they don't even live in houses, they live in caves. So sit down. Sit down. Because we're gonna have a story about a little frog. A little frog called Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith. And Mr. Smith grew up in a wood with a beautiful pond, big river. Well, he grew up in this wood. And he loved this wood. We love it round here. And he used to only ever come when his mum needed to pick stuff up from town, but the best thing about Mr. Smith was that he was happy. He was a happy frog. I used to be so happy. And Mr. Smith used to play around all day. And he was a wolf cub, like you guys. And he loved it. And he'd come home and he'd see his froggy mummy and daddy. And he'd say, "What's for tea, ma'am?" And she'd say, "Frey Bentos." And he'd grin. And he'd sit with his dinner, and he'd watch the telly. And he'd be so happy. And then one day, Mr. Smith, he went to bed, and he woke up, and he wasn't a small frog anymore, he was a big frog. And he felt he never felt big, but he was. And he felt a size every time he looked at his mum and dad, he would become small frogs. And that made him sad, because he felt his size every time he saw them. Anyway, but that's what frogs do, isn't it? Well, you've seen them in the community centre. And Mr. Smith, he was a froggy just like anyone. So one day he took a look at himself in the reflection of his pond, and he said, "I'm going to be a good frog. I'm going to do everything I can to be a good frog, Scout's honour." And he tried hard. He tried so hard. He tried so hard. And Mr. Smith soon came to realise that the world doesn't care how good of a frog you are, and it only cares if you do what it tells you to do and you do it well. And Mr. Smith, he became indisposed. Who remembers what indisposed means? Good! Yeah, well, he became indisposed and he was sad. Very sad for a long time. And, well, he soon forgot who he was. Who he ever was. Little Mr. Smith, the tadpole, well, he was gone. Until he met Sandra. And Sandra was another frog, but she was a happy frog. So happy, and just as happy as he'd been when he was a boy, but she was a grown-up. And when he saw her, the 2-for-1 happy hour at the Black Horse, through the crowd of builders, that sticky side of the dance floor, she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen in his little froggy life. It was like seeing one bright umbrella bobbing up and down on a rainy day in a busy high street. It was like seeing the bluebells in the woods. He hated loud music, hot rooms. But for tonight, on that night, those few snatch minutes with Sandra, he'd done anything. So, after a few more dates, a couple of liaisons, Mr. Smith soon had a froggy girlfriend. And she looked at him and she realised, hang on, Mr. Smith, you have been so miserable all this time. So, she made him smile. She made him laugh. She brightened up every single day for him, and he loved her for it. He loved her for every little moment. And soon they bought a pond of their own. They got a pond of their own, and they did it up nice. She chose the bed sheets, he chose the curtains. And they got some decent hi-fi, and sometimes she'd have her friends over, and that'd be all right, because although he didn't really like her friends, especially Brenda, who was a fucking cunt. Don't repeat that to your mums again. So even though he didn't like Brenda, it made her happy, so it made him happy. And soon, little Mr. Smith and big Mr. Smith, they weren't too far apart from each other at all. And soon, Sandra told him to get off his and so he got back on his flippers again. Get out, start meeting people, get a job. So he went down to Home Bargains, got a job there, which he left, and then he got a job at Debenhams, which he left, and now he works at the library, which is quiet, as libraries are, but so he thought to himself, I know what I'll do. I'll come back to the wood on the weekends and I'll see my wolf cubs. And he became a wolf cub again, but this time he wasn't a cub, he was a wolf. So a wolf in frog's clothing. Anyway. Mr. Smith, he met some wonderful little wolf cubs who he loved. And he thought they were brilliant, and he loved them like they were his own. But they'll never be. It's never to be. So he ran home to tell Mrs. Frog. See, she went from Miss to Mrs. He tied the knot, and she loved to meet them. She was yes, absolutely, I'll meet them. Fantastic. So he brought them home, and she met his cubs and his new wolf friends, and she let them in. She let them all in. And Mr. Smith soon started to realise that not all frogs are frogs. Some frogs are rats. Big fucking rats. and he realised you go around the world and there are lots and lots of nice frogs, but there's some poisonous things, and even though you'll see some nice things, you'll do some amazing things, sometimes you just get fucking bitten. And you'll be left unhappy. And you'll cry. I hope you wolves don't cry. And that's the end of the story. Because well, I want it to be. And Mrs. Smith, she'll be all right. Mrs. Smith, he'll probably be fine. And the rat. Well, he wasn't in the best state when I saw him, but I'm sure he'll be fine too. It'll be fine. Sorry, knots. This. I can't teach you anything. You don't want to learn from me. So you can all just go on. Wait, stay asleep. Just stay asleep. If you've got a bed, stay in it. Don't come out for anything or anyone. Because yeah, you'll have some great times, you'll meet some amazing people, you'll see amazing things, you'll try new food, you'll go to amazing concerts, you'll watch great films, you'll cry at cartoons, cheer for your favourite sports team, but you'll remember and you'll forget. And you'll get sad. And you have times where you laugh at yourself, but for the next hour you'll be waiting to cry yourself to sleep. And you'll get a taste for the finer things, but then you'll wish for things to be simpler, and it goes on and on, and there's you're gonna see your friends go and your family die. And you'll wish when you woke up that morning that you never bothered. You'll wish you stayed asleep. So cut out the middleman. Keep your eyes closed. Listen, I'm gonna go. When Martin's up and he's cleaned himself up, Can you guys tell them that I wish them both the best of luck. And actually, can someone take this down? Where's the kids with all the notebooks? Yeah, if you just, can you write down all the best? All the best. I hope you both die young. Love, Mr. Frog. How's that sound? And actually as well, when you if Sandra comes back, you tell her that I'm sorry. But I loved her so much. I loved her so much. You tell her that and make sure she cries. Gingangooli gooly 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 watcha, gingango, gingango, gingangooli gooly 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 watcha. That was our wedding song. But, oh, it's just my song. Because you have to go and suck them off in a wigwam. Sorry, I'll see you later.
When I was a bachelor, young and bold, I followed the roving trail. The only thing that I ever done wrong, I courted a handsome maid. I wooed her all the summertime and part of the winter too. The only harm that ever I done was to keep off the foggy dew. 'Twas on one night about 12 o'clock, as I lay fast asleep, there came this maid to my bedside, and bitterly she did weep. She wept, she moaned, she tore her hair, and she cried, what shall I do? So I rolled her into bed, and I covered up her head for to keep